Okay, so we are live. Good evening, everyone who has joined us today. This is Vishnu Priya from the Adult Tinkering Labs team. Welcome to yet another YouTube live session on ATL Marathon 2022-23. Every week, we bring to you expert sessions on strategy and technology to help you participate in the ATL Marathon. However, today's session is very special and different. In a first of a kind of a session, today we have an expert session by a student herself who is from an ATL lab. So let me welcome Meghna Dodipale, who is with us here today to take an expert session on biomimicry. Before I hand it over to Meghna, a little introduction about her. Meghna is a class 7 student at Harvest International School, Bangalore. She has authored and published a book called On Cloud Nine, which is a collection of short stories for children. She is also an avid Carnatic music enthusiast. She has developed Swara Sathi, which is a mobile-based application app product to provide online music learning services for children. During ATL Thinkerpreneur 2021, Swara Sathi was adjudged as one of the top 100 digital products. She has also developed e-learning resources on digital skills and conducted hand-holding mentoring sessions for Thinkerpreneur 2022 with participants from across the country. During Marathon 2021, her innovation was in the top 10, and she, along with her friends, has been championing the Tinker Champ initiative and is now laying the foundation to start her own social entrepreneurial venture called Entrepreneurship in a Box, which is basically a toolkit to develop entrepreneurial skills among rural children. Meghna is also preparing to conduct a TEDx talk in the near future and aspires to become a change maker to transform the society for good. So Meghna, with that, let me welcome you to an expert session for students by students. We are calling it the ATL student session. So welcome on board, and we are very excited to learn from you on biomimicry. Uh, Back to you.
Thank you, Mom. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see it.
Yeah, it's visible.
Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better, says Albert Einstein. I am here to talk about how looking deep into nature lands you at innovative ideas and sustainable solutions. An approach to problem solving and design thinking called biomimicry. You already know about me, so I'm going to skip this part. Now about the Tinker Champs. Some of the students who have immensely benefited from the Tinkerpreneur Bootcamp acquired multiple digital and 21st century skills, wanted to spread it to the larger student community within and across different schools. We started in August of 2021, a total of 30 students between classes 6 to 10 from 12 schools across 8 states of the country set on to this journey of the Tinker Champ program. It was our opportunity to pay it forward. It is by the students, of the students, and for the students. How does this translate? To give you a glimpse, here is what we got done in 2022. Peer mentoring. We are birds of the same feather. We need to flock together. We conduct boot camps for students and teachers on various topics, creating e-learning resources, ebooks, podcasts, blogs, websites, how-to instruction guides, and conducted the Hand Hold Me sessions for Tinkerpreneur 2022. We support our school's ATLs, and we also conducted the maker trips. My interest with biomimicry. I am from Bangalore, and Bangalore has been witnessing a significant rise in bike accidents. There are cases where the bikers have sustained head injuries, even wearing helmets. It made me think, what's the use of a helmet if it doesn't protect us? Can the helmet design be improved? While solving this problem, I got introduced to this amazing world of biomimicry that I would like to share with all of you. So, what is biomimicry? Biomimicry is a technology oriented process focused on putting nature's lessons into practice. From eons, nature has been an inspiration for philosophers, artists, poets, writers, designers, and of course, inventors too. Architects and designers look to biology as a source of inspiration from the beginning of science. One of the oldest examples of biomimicry is Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine. Nope, not the denim company. It all started when old Leo got bored of just walking and wanted to fly like a bird. Like a bird. So, how does a bird fly? It has these two wings on the side and it keeps flapping. So, he tried the same thing. Let's just say his model was not successful. So, when the Wright brothers came, they studied the more nuanced features of a bird's flight and made the first heavier than air power controlled plane that didn't crash. They had a problem and they got the solution from biomimicry. As simple as that. The term biomimicry appeared as early as 1982, though it was practiced from long before. Here are a few more examples of biomimicry. First, the gecko. This device was inspired by gecko toes, which allowed the reptiles to walk up flat surfaces, effortlessly sticking to materials and unsticking when necessary. In Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Ethan Hunt is seen wearing a pair of specialized gecko gloves and scaling the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Remember, blue is glue and red is dead. Next, the mosquito injection. Injections are big, sharp, and scary. But what if they didn't have to be this way? Have you ever been bitten by a mosquito and felt nothing? That has been used to design a painless injection needle using the principle of biomimicry. Then, the great Japanese kingfisher. Japan's famous bullet train used to make a loud boom when it traveled through tunnels. But thanks to bird watching, an engineer fixed the problem inspired by the kingfisher, which makes little to no sound while diving into water. And the last one, Velcro. Yes, you use a biomimic product every single day. So when George de Mistral went for a walk and wondered why burdock seeds clung to his woolen socks and coat and also his dog Milka, he discovered it could be turned into something useful. And Velcro was born. There are three levels of biomimicry. The first is organism level, copying the basic form and shape, or taking inspiration from the form and shape of something. This is commonly seen in architecture. For example, the Lotus Temple in India. Created to resemble the shape of a lotus, it is visited by over 1,000 visitors every day. The Gherkin Tower. This tower in London was built in 2003. It's called the gherkin as the look is inspired by the vegetable, but the function is inspired by the Venus flower basket. Its design contrasts the conservative nature of most of London's buildings. The Beijing National Stadium, also called the Bird's Nest Stadium. Stadium took this name because the iron bars are like a bird's nest. And the Olympic Pavilion of Barcelona. The golden fish sculpture was built for the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Its surface changes appearance depending on the angle of the sun and the weather conditions. The gecko's foot is also an example of level 1. The silent movement of the beak of a kingfisher or the super hydrophobic surfaces, so lotus leaf, are other examples. Next, behavioral level. Copying the behavior of which every organism behaves. Taking inspiration from or studying a specific biological process. For example, we all know what photosynthesis is. If we can recollect, inputs of photosynthesis are light, carbon dioxide, and water. The outputs are glucose and oxygen. Imagine if we can replicate that process. It can be a source of renewable energy. Artificial photosynthesis harnesses solar energy and converts the captured carbon dioxide as fuel for engines. The second example is the Eastgate Center in Harare, Zimbabwe. The Eastgate Center is a shopping center and office block designed by Mike Pierce. Ventilated and cooled by almost entirely natural means, it was probably the first building in the world to use natural cooling to this level of sophistication. It was inspired by termite hills, if you can believe it. Not to mention, the Eastgate Center uses 35% less energy than similar buildings in Zimbabwe. Other examples are how electric eels produce their signature electrical shocks, how the immortal jellyfish is able to essentially live forever, or the ability of salamanders to regenerate limbs, like in the Amazing Spider Man's movie. Last but not the least, the third level. This is all about copying the whole ecosystem, taking inspiration from and studying the way animals and organisms build structures and systems. This level is considered the hardest level. Mimicking of ecosystems or eco-mimicry is an integral part of biomimicry. The advantage of designing at this level of biomimicry is that it can be used in conjunction with the other two levels, besides the principles of sustainability. For example, the undulating green roof of the California Academy of Sciences. Sustainability is the main aim of this project. Every ounce of it is environmentally efficient, taking utmost advantage of the cool winds from the northwest and the warm sunny mornings. Weather stations on the roof monitor wind, rain, and changes in temperature to help inform the building's automated systems. Skylights, keeping rainforest temperatures just right, the interior piazza cool and comfortable, with natural light streaming to the exhibits below. Overall, 1, 2, and 3 together. The second example is the idea of eco cities, designs for integrating agriculture and flowing pure water into green urban settings. How do we implement biomimicry? There are two approaches to biomimicry. The first approach, or the bottom up approach, it's also called biology influencing design. It's like Newton's apple. Newton sees the apple fall. This is biological influence. Then he discovers gravity. This is the design part. In this method, you start with a biological question. Here are some examples. Self-cleaning surfaces inspired by lotus leaves. The lotus grows in muddy water, but its leaves are seemingly never dirty, and drops of water on a lotus leaf have an unearthly sparkle. This is because of the lotus leaf's super hydrophobic waxy coating and the innumerable bumps on its surface. So, say goodbye to stains and hello to self cleaning surfaces. We have already looked at the Velcro example, so I'm going to skip that. The drag reducing riblet films on aircraft and riblet textiles for swimming inspired by shark skin. Shark skin inspired swimsuits received a lot of media attention during the 2008 Summer Olympics when the spotlight was shining on Michael Phelps. Scientists have been able to replicate the countless overlapping scales of shark skin in swimsuits. Besides that, the shark skin mechanism has also been applied to create surfaces in hospitals that resist bacteria growth, since bacteria can't catch hold on a rough surface. Then the second approach, my preferred way, design looking to biology. Here you have a problem. You observe nature looking for a potential solution. You design your product based on the observations. In this method, you start with a technical question. Here are a few examples of design looking to biology. Like the facade shading system inspired by the movement of the bird of paradise flower. This biological system has been successfully analyzed, its functional principle abstracted and implemented in a technical system with cooperation between biologists, engineers, and architects. As a result, a hingeless sun shading system was developed. Aircraft winglets, inspired by bird wings, are other examples of this method. Okay, fine. Biomimicry is pretty cool, but how is it useful to me? You might as well ask. It's a step by step process for changing nature strategies into innovative and sustainable design solutions. It's used when you know what problem you're trying to solve. There are 6 incremental steps: define, biologize, discover, abstract, emulate, and evaluate. Rinse and repeat these 6 steps till the desired solution. Let's look at the various steps with an example. It always helps to understand the process better if we can relate to it. Step 1: define, the start of any sensible process. Define your problem. Explain your design's intended influence, that is, the problem it seeks to solve, as well as the standards and limitations that will decide its viability. In our example, it's poor quality of backpacks, leading to our laptops and iPads or any other valuables to break, which leads to our parents having a fight with us. They blame us, we blame the bags, on and on and on. Long story short, bad bags break relationships. As simple as that. Let's see if nature has a solution to our problem. Step 2: biologize. Consider the context and vital functions that your design solution must take into account. What features does your problem need to solve? Let's find out. Why did the laptop break? The cloth bag couldn't protect it from the marble floor. Protection. Why? It's like 4 millimeters thick. It really can't do much. Durability. Why didn't you put the laptop in a big box? Because I need to carry it easily. Flexibility. Put them within biological contexts so you may ask nature for guidance. Protection, durability, and flexibility. Step 3: discover. You've got your requirements. Now, time to find something that matches them. Seek out examples from the natural world, organisms, and ecosystems that deal with the same issues and situations as your design solution. Determine the tactics they employ to ensure the success and survival. It's time to look to nature. We could take a notepad, pen, and our not so reliable backpack and go on an expedition to seek answers from nature. Or simply, we go to asknature.org and search. Type in the features or keywords we discussed in step 2 and identify the biological strategies that suit your needs. Narrow down the models or strategies that address the same function and context as your design solution. So here we have 2 potential candidates. Scales on striped bass provide high resistance to penetration due to their double layer structure, and scales of pangolin provide flexibility yet strong protection by overlapping roof shingles. But the devil is in the detail. Let's dive in to know more. Step 4: abstract. Consider these ideas from a design perspective. Study the key components or mechanisms that give the biological tactics their success in detail. Just to recap, we've laid out the design requirements, try to match them with biological strategies, and now are selecting the more viable strategy for a product design. When a predator appears, the pangolin curls up into a tight ball. The curved body causes the sharp edges of the scales to stick out, and the scales' virtually impenetrable nature prevents teeth and claws from getting to the juicy parts inside. Here, pangolin seems to protect itself from the type of damage we anticipate in our backpacks. Moving on to step 5, emulate. Search for patterns and connections among the tactics you discover, and then focus on the most important solutions that guide your problem. So, create design ideas based on these components. After identifying the design and biological perspectives, let's relate the two. In our design for the backpack, a combination of flat, tough, overlapping layers and an inner layer with a more diverse orientation creates a structure that's hard to break but also absorbs the force of an attack. Powerful protection and flexibility. In comes the pangolin backpack, an unusual backpack modeled after the protective scales on the back of the pangolin. Step 6, evaluate. Consider how well the design concepts comply with the requirements and limitations of the design challenge. Evaluate how it integrates with the ecological systems of Earth. Keep technological and business model viability in mind. Test your design. Keep revisiting these steps until you feel that your design is fully refined and market ready. Applying biomimicry to product design is a win win win. It satisfies the needs of the society, the environment, and the economy. It's viable, livable, and equitable in nature. Single purpose tools. For examples, trees provide shade with their leaves, which also generate energy, and bark, which also helps to protect and cool the moving water beneath the surface. Imagine building surfaces and systems that could accomplish multiple functions with one simple, multifunctional design. It's making the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the G20 presidency focus areas more easily achievable while minimizing additional costs. It is one of the best problem solving and design thinking approaches. That was about biomimicry. Now, let's put it to use. Atal Innovation Mission's flagship innovation challenge, ATL Marathon, is due this month. There are 7 plus 1 areas where we can come up with innovative solutions. Is biomimicry a solution? With less than a month for submission, we can use all the help that we get. Here are some examples in each of the areas to find and draw inspiration from. Education. Ensure effective and efficient education for all. Traditional teaching methods have not been impactful. Problems include less learning outcome, less involvement of teacher and student, more emphasis on rote learning than practical utility. Inspiration from nature, rock ants. Running together, the teacher ants lead the student ants to a food source, allowing them to wander and develop first hand knowledge of the route. Naive ants that don't know where to look for food look for ants that do, but they don't merely follow the leader. They don't run after them. The two, teacher and pupil, run together, keeping up a two-way conversation. Implementation. Flipped classroom training. A flipped classroom is a type of blended learning where the student is introduced to content at home and practices working through it at school. Interaction time between teacher and student increases. The teacher becomes a guide and the student understands responsibility. Health. Make India healthy, for health is wealth. The number of blind people in India as of 2020 was estimated to be 31.6 million. Vision loss can affect one's quality of life and also leads to many other ailments. Solution. Bionic eyes inspired by human eyes. A bionic eye is more structurally similar to the human eye, the curved shape that accurately replicates a retina. Engineered eyes, like that in Blade Runner, remain a long way off. But this bionic eye can provide a degree of basic vision. Agriculture. The aim is to do more with less. And don't forget, 2023 is the year of the millet. Problem. Our population is rapidly expanding. It's estimated that there will be close to 1.67 billion people on our planet by 2050, and the demand for food would increase by 60%. Inspiration from nature? Beehives, a modular aeroponic home growing system, is made up of individual hexagon shaped bins similar to those in honeycombs. You can grow anything from herbs to tubers. They can be stacked to fit any available space. The hexagonal indoor farm grows more food in less space, with 90% less water. And not to forget, savings in transportation. Environment and climate sustainability. This is the hot topic. Everyone who's someone is talking about it. Environment and nature inspired look like a match made in heaven. We are already using solar, wind, hydro, bio. I could go on. How about making them a little more efficient? I mean, what's the point of solar panels if all the light energy isn't absorbed? Inspired by butterfly wings, which absorb light and reflect almost none of it back, silicon based solar panels are placed to help reduce light reflection, increasing efficiency by 66%. Development. Here we have transportation and mobility. Mobility is an intrinsic part of human development. It means getting people from point A to point B without getting stuck in traffic along the way? Could nature help build a more efficient transportation system? Yes, mosquito fish. Large groups of mosquito fish can move together with little to no physical contact between individuals. This is because of the individual fish who coordinate their acceleration and deceleration. Imagine car's laser finder or LRF that detects obstacles in a 180-degree range and calculates the distance to the obstacle and immediately sends signal to avoid collision. This is used in Nissan's EPORO or Episode O0 robot, an episode aiming to be CO2 free and accident free. Other problems under development is access to clean water. Access to clean drinking water is critical for good health. Wastewater treatment systems are expensive, high energy demanding, and require specialized parts. Nature's solution: low cost water filtration system inspired by non flowering trees. How does it work? The water filtration system is made from the branches of native non-flowering trees like pine and ginkgo. These branches contain sapwood lined with interconnected conduits and thin tissue that serves as a sieve. Digital India. Digitalization has taken over India from education to farming. The flip side is counterfeiting. Passports, banknotes, identification documents, and tax stamps all require enhanced security in order to protect them from counterfeits. Inspiration: beautiful blue butterflies. I was actually surprised to discover that these beautiful, fragile looking creatures could be an inspiration to so many different problems. So, how does this solution work? It works on the simple principle of diffraction. It produces structural color to create security features with a unique and customizable visual effect. Tourism. Artificial intelligence can revolutionize the travel industry. Travel chatbots, voice assistants and robots, facial recognition software, systems for crafting
Meghna, can you hear me? I think there is a technical issue. I'm not able to hear you.
The same. I'm on.
Yeah, I think there's a technical issue that Meghna is facing. Just give us a minute to figure it out, and we'll quickly resume the session once she's back.
Yeah, hi Meghna. Can you try speaking? Hmm?
Hi, we cannot hear you, Meghna. I think there's a you are supposed to connect to the audio. I see that your audio is not connected. Okay. Apologies for the technical glitches. We are just figuring it out. Meghna, you can take a minute and just connect to the audio. You are not connected to the audio of the meeting. That's why we are not able to hear you. Yeah, now I see that the audio connection is back. Yeah, can you speak?
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah,
don't think.
great, great. Great
Yeah,
to have you back. Yeah, so we can continue from tourism and yeah, over to you.
yeah, sure. I seem to have an internet issue. So,
You can switch
um,
off your video if you think that would save the bandwidth, but I leave that up to you.
it's fine, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Uh, Tourism. Artificial intelligence can revolutionize the travel industry. Travel chatbots, voice assistants, and robots, facial recognition software, systems for crafting personalized recommendation, promotion, sentiment analysis, luggage handling. I can go on. And we also know about AI. Did you know it was inspired by the network of neurons in our brains? So we can use biomimicry in tourism industry through artificial intelligence. How awesome does that sound? And the last one is my favorite. Unleash your creativity and think outside the themes box. All 17 UN SDGs are at play. Find your own problem and solve it. You can use the biomimicry design process to convert your problems into innovative and sustainable solutions. Next couple of slides, I'll cover how to identify innovations inspired by nature or solve existing problems again inspired by nature with the
We'll
help of
probably,
exercise.
Meghna will probably have to reshare the slides again because we can still see the tourism slide. So maybe you can stop
Oh,
sharing and again reshare the deck.
yeah, I'll just do it. Oh, it's been paused. Okay, I'll just unpause the stop sharing. Can you see the slide
Yeah,
now?
yeah, we can see the other slide.
Okay. Um, I've just covered the slide again,
Yeah,
so
that's fine. We can move on. I think you were talking about the exercises and last couple of slides that you had put together.
yes, ma'am. We all seem to understand the concepts when we hear them. But did we really understand? Why not try it out? This is a biomimicry exercise based on the bottom up approach. Biology influencing design. Here you identify the special abilities and then their practical applications. I've done one as an example, the lotus leaf. The water droplets just sit on a lotus leaf, and this is because of hydrophobicity. And the same compound also resists contamination. What can we do with these abilities? Stain resistant fabric, self cleaning materials, dust and dirt repellent paints, coating, water repellent paper. The possibilities are endless. As an exercise, try to find inspiration from the octopus, tortoise, butterfly, giraffe, fish, dogs, cows, blades of grass. Inspiration is all around you. Try it on your own later on. Now, this is a biomimicry exercise based on the top down approach, design looking to biology. Problem statement I've given here is indoor air quality. Indoor air quality is often 2 to 5 times worse than outdoor air, which is where humans spend 90% of their time. How can nature inspire us to improve air quality and reduce pollution? Step 2. Ask nature. Step 3. Select the best fitting strategy. Step 4. Design your product. Step 5. Create your product and then refine it in iterations. Try this on your own later on. Use the biomimicry design process. My project and its progress. Back to where we started. First, the problem statement. Faulty helmets. Step 2. Look to nature for solutions. Time to asknature.org. In my search, I shortlisted 2 biological strategies. One, the golden fronted woodpecker protects it from brain injury by absorbing shock by a plate like spongy bone in the frontal cranium. 2. The spines of hedgehogs function as shock absorbers during falls, thanks to their honeycomb like core and longitudinal stiffness. After careful study, I have selected the hedgehog spines. Step 4. Design your product. This is the design I've come up for my helmet. It's like any normal helmet, but here I've added an impact absorbing lining. All those lines in my pencil sketch filled with hedgehog spines between the padding and the outer cover. Near the chin strap and neck support are to save you from chronic neck pain during whiplash injuries. Don't call PETA already. No animals were harmed in making this helmet. I mean, synthetic quills, which can absorb and hinder the shock of impact. I'll take questions now. I'll answer to the best of my abilities. Otherwise, we'll definitely get back to you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, Meghna. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that you're just in class 7 and you've already, you have a long list of accomplishments and achievements. And the presentation that you just made on biomimicry was very insightful. Even for me, I've learned a lot of new things today. And the fact that you aligned it with all the themes of the ATL marathon would also be very helpful to the students who are currently watching us and who will be watching this later. So there are a lot of interesting ideas, and you've given a sense of direction to the students to explore biomimicry when they participate in ATL marathon. So thank you for that. Thank you for such a thought out and well made presentation. I don't see any questions at the moment in the live chat box, but I think you had given your email ID, right? That was displayed. So, in case if you are open to it, you can reshare that again, that slide. And anyone who is interested to learn more, you can just reach out to Meghna's email ID as well as the website that she has. So, with that, thank you so much, Meghna. And any closing parting thoughts from you to encourage all our young innovators to participate in marathon and make the most of the opportunity that is presented to them?
Yes, ma'am. I hope you all enjoyed learning a new method for innovation, tried and tested from ages. This is all I have for you today. You can reach me at nenumeghna@gmail.com and visit my website at dmeghna.com. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Meghna. And with that, let's call it a wrap. We will be back again next week with yet another exciting YouTube live session. You will hear from experts, from alumni, ATL students, as well as ATL innovators like Meghna herself. So, with that, please take care and have a good evening ahead. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.